Welcome parents from El Rancho Charter Middle School. Thank you so much for watching our Zoom recording. My name is Hannah. I'm a tour consultant at EF Tours. I was working with Scott Castro to help set up the Germany and Netherlands tour this past spring break. I'm so sorry that your students weren't able to travel at that time, but we're here this afternoon to tell you about the exciting opportunities that your students will have at Canyon High School. So you're going to meet Steve Smith, the group leader at Canyon High School, and I will hand it over to my colleague Flynn to introduce herself.
Yes. Hello, parents. Thank you for joining us. I am the one that has been emailing you and just reaching out to you. So I'm really excited that we were able to share Mr. Smith's opportunities that he has as Canyon. He has had great tours. He's a great asset to the EF team that we have here, and we're really excited to share those opportunities with you. But I will be the one that will be contacting you and sending some follow-up emails. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. But I am going to go ahead and pass it off to Mr. Smith to learn a little bit more about all his tours he has. First.
All right.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was going to say Flynn's going to start up a presentation, and we'll watch a short video, and then I'll jump in after the video's over.
Absolutely. So let me get this in.
My name is Steve Smith, and I'm the Activities Director at Canyon High School. I have always been fascinated with faraway places and adventure, but I didn't really know what that meant. While attending Baylor University, I really wanted to do a semester abroad, but it just didn't work with my aviation requirements. So through my last semester in college, I waited tables full-time and saved every penny to backpack Europe with my brother. We had a 5-week adventure seeing things I had only dreamed about. We went through 12 different countries, met incredibly interesting people, and saw the coolest things. The most impactful experiences were those that were so different than anything we have here in the U.S. We rode a slide down into a salt mine in Holstein. We saw a medieval burial site where bones were stacked instead of buried to save space. In Sweden, we had dinner with some locals on a small island and went for a ride with them on their boat. We had the somber experience of visiting a concentration camp in Austria and spent an eerie night tent camping in the Black Forest of Germany. It was unforgettable, and it gave me a passion to go farther and see more. I later traveled Italy and Greece with a couple of friends, and even spent 1 week traveling by myself. Again, my mind was blown by all I saw, but not just saw, experienced. The Vatican, the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and then over to Athens to see the Parthenon. One of my favorites of all time was hiking from one fishing village to another in Cinque Terre, once with my friends and then again later with my wife. Big cities and small towns, there is so much to see that one visit is never enough. Now my desire is to give a taste of these experiences to our students so that they will be empowered to travel into the future. I want to see them have those jaw-dropping, breathtaking moments that change you. Students come back to share about the stuff they bought, the food they ate, and the people they met. These trips have the potential to change the way our students view life, the way they explore new places, and the way they understand people. Anytime we visit someplace new and different, we can play tourist, or we can seize the opportunity to be a traveler, exploring new culture and discovering hidden treasures that will shape our perspectives for the rest of our lives. I get excited thinking about our upcoming adventures, and still the question that always hangs around in the back of my mind is, where are we going to go next? So when I see students come back to campus and say things like, my friends and I are going to plan our own trip in the near future because of this experience, or now when I go to college, I really want to study abroad, I get to sit back and say, Mission accomplished. I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. But you've planted a seed, or all of you, we've planted a seed right here. And this seed will carry on growing. You might think that you're leaving, being the same people, but you don't. You're not. You will never be the same people ever again. For the world we're gonna make.
All right, I'll jump in. So that video is very, very recent, very new. I wanted to put together a video that kind of told my story and explained why I'm so into this stuff and why I get excited about it. And just as I watched those pictures, I've seen that video 100 times because of putting it together, but as I see those pictures, everyone is a memory, and I start thinking about the bigger story and the bigger event that goes along with it. And so I get excited just thinking about it, just watching. And my goal, my vision really is to start to expose our high school students to that same idea and get them excited, and then see what they do with it in the future. For me, it was not until I was out of college that I had that first experience. And so if our students are getting to begin in high school, and with you guys, with Scott Castro starting up a program and wanting to expose students even as early as junior high, I think that's really cool. Scott and I know each other not just through the district, but our kids played Little League together. And so we met several years ago. And I think it's really cool that he's doing this. And I know this year it didn't work out, and it didn't work out for our group either. But now because of that, we get to hopefully include you guys on one of our trips. And so we're going to get into those two options for you. Flynn, you want to take us to the next one?
Yeah, absolutely.
So our first trip, this is the one that we were going to do this summer, and we had to postpone it. This is a trip to Ireland and Scotland, and very different from the other trip that I'll explain to you in a minute. But Ireland, Scotland, if you've never been there, the scenery is hard to explain, hard to compare to anything we have here, as far as just the beauty and the richness of it. So I'm really excited about doing this. This is going to be spring break, because it was going to be too complicated to work in 2 trips over the summer next year. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the Scotland-Ireland trip over spring break, and that means we would leave on Friday. That Friday before spring break is a minimum day for us, and so students would miss that day of school, that minimum day. And then we'd be gone all of spring break, come home Sunday, and be back in time for school that following Monday. So the students really would only miss a half day of school to do this trip. And I'm kind of excited about trying. I haven't done a spring break trip yet. I'm excited about that because the crowds are going to be completely different. Summer travel is always crowded. Everywhere you go, anywhere in Europe, that's just the way it is. But to get to go do it in spring break, I think it's going to be a very different experience. So I'm looking forward to that. And the next one, please. So then in summer, right after school gets out, we're looking at Japan. And Japan is an 11-day trip. All different parts of Japan, wide variety of experiences. Japan is one of the places I've never been. And so I am excited about this trip because this is going to be new and different for me too. Our first trip, the clips you saw in the video, our first trip was to London, Paris, Barcelona, and I had been to all those places before. But even still, it was a different experience with our students, and we got to go dig a little deeper than when I've traveled by myself. And then the second trip was Italy and Greece, and that's what we did last summer. And that one too. I'd been to those places, but not the same experience. This is much more in depth and better quality than traveling as a backpacker. So this one, I'm really excited because this is going to be to a place I've never been. Scotland, Ireland, I've also been to those places already, but this will be that week after we get out of school. And
it will be before the Olympics.
It will. So
yeah.
yeah, good point. So one of the things that I think is going to be really exciting with going to Japan next summer, because the Olympics were postponed this year, they're going to be late July in Japan, and we will be there mid to late June. And so I think the timing is going to be perfect because the whole country is going to already be buzzing about the Olympics coming. Things will be clean, things will be presentable, things are going to be ready for a lot of guests, but those guests won't be there yet. The guests are going to come later, closer to the Olympics once we're gone. So I think we're going to get to enjoy some of that experience and some of that prep work they've done without having to deal with all of the Olympic crowds. So it could be a really well-timed event that we're falling into. So we'll see.
Yeah. I love how different the tours are too. I think it's amazing how those options, one going to Europe and then going to Japan too. I think that's going to be such a great difference in the two.
Yeah. So parents, so that you know kind of the bigger vision of what we're trying to do, every year I'm creating a different trip and I introduce it in the fall. And in the fall, that trip will happen a year and a half later. So I introduce it way in advance to keep payments nice and low and give people lots of time to plan and get excited. But the plan is to keep rolling out a trip every year, typically summer trips, unless I fall in love with this spring break thing. But we'll see. But yeah, so there will be another trip after Japan, and we'll just keep them going. So you guys coming into Canyon will have lots of exposure before you graduate.
Perfect. We'll go to this last slide then for you, Mr. Smith.
Okay, so then on this slide, you can see the two options next to each other. The Scotland, Ireland trip, those dates are set because spring break is such a small window. We really don't have flexibility. We have to leave on that Friday. We have to come back on that Sunday so that we're missing as little school as possible. So that one is set. You can see the price there, $39.40. And then below it, Japan, the Scotland, Ireland is a 10-day trip. Japan is an 11-day trip. And that one, you can see the price. You can see the dates. Those dates are what we call a travel window. We keep the travel dates flexible to keep the price down and to be able to book the best flights and everything else. And so those, the earliest we would leave would be June 14th, and the latest we would come home. Actually, that must be my ideal range, because we could leave a couple of days before that, and we could come home a couple of days after that. But I always have it set up so that the earliest we would leave would be about the Monday after the week school gets out, and the latest we would come home is always before 4th of July, because I know families want to be home for the 4th. So
just for some context, can you say how many students are signed up for each trip? Because you have a good amount sign up on both, right?
Yeah, we actually have about 20 on each trip. So we have about 20 already, and I would love to get more of our students in there. And with you guys coming over from El Rancho, especially those of you that were already planning to travel, this gives you two quick and easy options to just jump right in. And then I always encourage my students that sign up, talk to your friends, get your friends to come along as well. The beauty of these trips is you get to know people on a whole different level than you do at school. And that's one of my favorite parts as a teacher. I get to know those students completely differently than being their teacher in the classroom. And so for our students meet people, they make friends and everything else, but it's also really cool to get some of your current friends to come with you and share in those experiences. It just makes it that much more exciting and gives you something even more interesting to look forward to. So then below each of those, you can see the information. If you wanted to go view the full itinerary for these trips, you could go to those websites and you would see every single day kind of an outline of what we would be doing during either one of those trips. And so what you can do is if you go through that and you say, hey, I really want to do the Scotland, Ireland trip, or I really want to do Japan. Because you guys are using vouchers, don't enroll online, right? Girls, don't enroll online. Email me and just say, hey, I'm one of the El Rancho families that has a travel voucher. And I really want to use that voucher for the Scotland, Ireland trip or the Japan trip. Let me know, and then I'll speak with Hannah and Flynn. We'll get you set up, and we'll get you transferred over. You can go online to see all the information. Just don't enroll yourself online because you're in a different situation.
Yep, that's exactly right. And Mr. Smith makes a great point. You know, we want to make sure that all your future travel voucher and all the monies that you guys have paid in are going directly to this new tour that you guys are going on. So we can definitely handle all of the stuff getting you enrolled. So just let him know which one looks the best and we'll take care of that.
I'll throw one more quick comment out there. You can see at the bottom, option C is 2022. My understanding is their vouchers are still good for that summer 2022 option, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, so if you wanted to do that, the tricky part about that is I'm not going to introduce it until the fall when I have my travel night, my info night. That's when I reveal where the next trip is going to be. So that one, if you want to hold out and wait, I actually this year on those two trips that you see right there, I have, I believe, 5 students that are going on both. And that was one of the coolest things to me that I didn't really see coming, is that students wanted to do more than just one trip. So as incoming freshmen, I would love for you to go on one of these 2 trips and then go again next year, or go again as a junior, or whatever it is. The trips are always going to be different on purpose so that students aren't having to sit out going, oh, I already did that one. It'll
Parents, don't worry, there's a discount for being a repeat traveler. So if your student would like to travel 2 or 3 years in a row, we have a discount for that.
I didn't know that. Cool. That's cool. So I think that's it for me. Again, check this stuff out. Also, I know that video was, it's a little hard to watch a video through Zoom. And so when Flynn sends out some information, she's going to include a link. If you want to go see that video, or if you want to share it with a family member or student or somebody that didn't get to see it themselves through this, you can share the link to the actual video, and it'll be easier to view than through this recorded Zoom meeting. Yeah. And that's it. Check it all out and shoot me an email.
Absolutely. Thank you everybody for watching, and we're excited to see all the travel opportunities that you guys get to go on at Canyon with Mr. Smith.
Your students. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.